Welcome to today's explainer. If you've ever found yourself rubbing a stiff neck after a long day at the desk, or, suddenly realizing you've been slouching for literally hours, well, this one is absolutely for you. Today, we're diving into a really surprising approach that movement specialists are using right now to tackle everyday stiffness and poor posture. And spoiler alert, it definitely doesn't involve sitting perfectly still in some insanely expensive ergonomic chair. Instead, we're looking at posture correction through dance and the very real results people are actually getting.
Let's think about it for a second. When you hear the words good posture, what immediately pops into your head? Is good posture really just standing up straight? For years, right, the traditional advice has been this completely static command. We're told to simply force ourselves to sit up straight, pull our shoulders back, and just hold it. But holding a rigid, frozen pose like a mannequin, that is exhausting. It's super uncomfortable. And the second you stop thinking about it, boom, you immediately slump right back over. Treating posture like just a static position we have to freeze in is honestly missing the point entirely. Okay, let's dive right into this. Traditionally, we tend to rely on static stretches, clinical physical therapy, or endless ergonomic tweaks to our workspaces. But there's a dynamic approach that more and more movement specialists are pointing to, and it relies on dance. Now, we aren't talking about dance just as a performance here. We're talking about it as a highly practical tool. It uses rhythm, repetition, and whole body control to fundamentally retrain exactly how people stand, move, and carry themselves out in the real world.
So, that brings us to Section 1, Beyond Stand Up Straight. To understand how we actually move beyond that old static idea, we have to look at neuromuscular awareness. Basically, posture is an active, whole-body coordination. It's your body's ability to coordinate muscles across your back, your hips, your feet, and even your breathing system, all at the exact same time. It's like a giant puzzle. And dance naturally demands these exact same posture-related actions. Think about it. When you dance, you're constantly managing weight shifts, controlling your torso, and keeping a stable frame. You are repeatedly executing structured combinations that target the exact same foundations physiotherapy emphasizes, like core stability and structural alignment.
Which leads us right into Section 2, the biomechanics of dance.
In a real training environment, instructors aren't just teaching you steps to a catchy song. They're actually structurally building a dancer's frame from the ground up using very specific cues. First up is long spine positioning, so lengthening rather than compressing. Second is grounded foot pressure. This teaches you how to truly connect with the floor for actual stability. Third, we have a lifted chest, but, and this is absolutely crucial, without overarching that lower back, which is a mistake, let's be honest, so many of us make. And finally, controlled shoulder placement. Over time, practicing these foundational alignment cues translates directly to your everyday activities, helping you naturally maintain the safer alignment without even thinking about it.
Moving on to Section 3, real, trackable posture results.
So, what does this all mean for you? When we look at the actual results from these programs, they generally break down into two main categories: direct physical relief and long-term functional gains. On the direct side, participants commonly report a huge reduction in their hunching habits, way fewer episodes of stiffness in their upper back or hips, and just a much greater ease when transitioning between different postures. Indirectly, progress is tracked through better balance, improved turn control, and cleaner execution of those posture cues we just talked about. For a lot of folks, the most noticeable change is simply feeling so much more stable when standing for long periods. It's a real game changer.
Now, a quick but very crucial note here, results do vary. As our sources point out, people with existing injuries, significant spinal conditions, or chronic pain might actually need tailored movement modifications. If you happen to fall into that category, medical guidance is always necessary before jumping into any new physical regimen. Dance is an absolutely fantastic tool, but, respecting your individual body always has to come first.
All right, let's jump into Section 4, how classes are taught. If you're sitting there imagining being thrown immediately into some high-intensity, intimidating choreography, don't worry. Dance-based posture training relies on progressive layering. Step 1 begins with foundational drills. We're talking breath control, pelvic alignment, and foot articulation for stability. It's all about slow tempo movements that emphasize correctly stacking the head, ribs, and pelvis. Then, in Step 2, instructors start to layer in controlled dance elements, like basic turns and side steps. This makes sure your alignment stays consistent even when movement demands are added into the mix. Finally, Step 3 incorporates cooldowns and gentle mobility exercises for muscle relaxation.
The whole core of this progressive training perfectly aligns with a really incredible insight from our source material. The ultimate goal is to turn good posture from a visual reminder into an automatic motor skill. I mean, think about how powerful that is. Instead of constantly nagging yourself to sit up, your body simply relearns how to carry itself. The alignment literally becomes second nature. This shift from a visual reminder to a completely automatic skill is the massive paradigm shift of this entire training process.
And that brings us to our final section. Section 5, finding a credible program. So, how do you actually take action? Well, not all dance classes are created equal when it comes to structural alignment. You really want to look for an instructor who provides very clear alignment cues and respects different mobility levels. Crucially, they absolutely must prioritize safe technique over speed or stylistic performance. Look for programs that heavily emphasize core, hip, and shoulder mechanics, relying on mindful repetition. Remember, mindful repetition and consistent attendance are far, far more effective for genuine posture correction than just learning fast, flashy routines.
Which leaves us with a final question for you to chew on. Are you ready to transform your posture from a static chore into a dynamic, everyday skill? The next time you catch yourself slouching, ask yourself, do you just need to try and sit up straighter for 5 minutes? Or do you actually need to rethink how you move entirely? Movement doesn't just have to be a workout, it can be an incredible relearning process for your entire body. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you next time.